Tony Novak here to share a few points on saving taxes and staying out of tax trouble. Today's topic is 3 steps to settling taxes in divorce. So, when there is a divorce situation, you know it's often a tense and long and drawn out thing, and it is common for there to be residual tax issues. Some things weren't filed, some things weren't paid, something when there's kids involved, the wrong parent took the child tax credit. All of this happens in its routine, and it can be a difficult, intense uh, situation. And in addition, let me mention the way that IRS looks at it is completely different and possibly even completely unfair to the people involved uh, in the situation. For example, IRS will completely ignore your marital settlement uh, if it dictates tax treatment in a way that differs from the way that IRS handles things. They have their own rules, their own policies, their own procedures, and that's what they go by. They don't pay much attention to your divorce settlement. But let's get into it. 3 steps. The first step is to get the facts. Now, when I'm involved, I do this as a separate mini engagement because the fact is we don't know what's going to come next. We get the information, we get it in a in this case you're using a CPA, so you're getting a CPA's report or assessment of the tax situation. An attorney can reliably use that. I'm assuming that in most situations there's 2 attorneys involved, and you would need 2 different uh, tax people to get that type of assessment. But we want to look for what's filed, what's owed, what looks proper, and we need to get things caught up and settled, usually before the divorce is over if there's things unfiled. So the second step is to let the attorneys work. Sometimes it's a mediator, and in rare cases, a couple can work these details out on their own. But in most cases that I see, it's the attorneys are very good at taking the facts, taking the tax situation and combining it with all the other craziness that's going on and coming up with a fair and logical settlement. The third step, now, I said the IRS has their own rules, so IRS may be looking backwards as to who was liable, and you might say, hey, that's his tax debt, and IRS is going after her for it, for example. And so we can sometimes go back and change the liability. There's something called innocent spouse. We can do things a lot, things go looking backwards, but the preferred way is to make a settlement looking forward, saying, okay, IRS is charging the wrong person, or it's collected money from the wrong person, or withheld a refund is off a very common case. The IRS has done something that wasn't intended in the past. So we, in this settlement agreement, are going to make a correction going forward. If, for example, one spouse got a refund of $5,000 that should have gone to the other one, well, then maybe that person in the settlement gets 5,000 extra cash, or maybe gets a credit towards child support going forward of that same amount. That is much easier, much more sane, and more logical than trying to go back and mess with the previous filings. And innocent spouse relief is a difficult, drawn out, long and expensive process. We can do it. We would prefer not to when there's a easier approach as we're discussing here today. So as always, I welcome comments or feedback either on social media, or if you want to talk with me one-on-one, that's easy to do. Find me at the website taxproblems.cpa, and we can set a time to talk. I'll be back tomorrow with another Tax Savings Minute.